As the night deepens, I am Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. Stand here amid the silence of a wounded Cybertron. Reflecting back to my earliest days as a miner, I contemplate the path I have traveled. From the darkness of the mines to the brightness of power, I have transformed. Let my tale tonight transport you to a realm of tranquil dreams, where even a warlord seeks peace. Cybertron, a planet orbiting among the stars, always glimmers with the sparkle of energon, the lifeblood for us, the Cybertronians. Yet behind that glimmer lies a profound darkness, a shadow that cloaks my past. I was born not into nobility or power, but in the dust and darkness of an iron mine in Kaon, a city long notorious for its brutality and injustice. My days were spent in darkness, digging and striking rocks, searching for the precious energon to sustain a life oppressed under the corrupt Quintesson regime. We, the mine workers, were seen as nothing more than tools machines that could be replaced and disregarded. Deep underground, in a place where sunlight never touches, my friends and I, like Impactor, toiled relentlessly. The harsh life in the mines not only shaped our metal muscles and frames, but also our resilience and will. We were miners in Kaon, used until exhaustion, each day struggling just to survive amid the machines and rocks. Day by day, we dug, with shards of stone and dust becoming both our companions and foes. The echoing sound of hammers striking rock filled the dark space, a never-ending symphony of brutality. Here, in perpetual darkness, fatigue became a true companion, and every drop of sweat was the price we paid to keep living. Yet, in the depths of despair, seeds of change were planted. Amid the rubble and dust, an unexpected figure emerged, Alpha Trion. A wise elder whose eyes seemed to have witnessed many eras pass. He entered our lives not as a ruler, but as a teacher and a rebel, bringing messages of justice and bravery long lost from our world. Alpha Trion did not see us as machines or tools, but as living beings with the right to fight and dream. He spoke of freedom, about the right of every Cybertronian to live with dignity, about our planet that could be fairer and more equitable. His words were like water in a desert, soothing hearts and minds that had long been parched. Patiently, he taught us about the history of Cybertron, about the primes and the struggles that had shaped our planet. He unveiled truths long obscured by the Quintessons, that we were not merely tools, but the rightful heirs of this planet. Each lesson was an eye-opener. Each word ignited a fire in hearts that had long been extinguished. Together, we, who had been just a group of weary miners, began to see the world from a new perspective. We started talking, discussing, and most importantly, dreaming of change. That dream slowly formed a vision, a collective purpose greater than just surviving. We wanted to live free. Under Alpha Trion's guidance, that spark eventually kindled into a flame of change. We, who had been passive and fearful, now became voices of resistance. We organized secret meetings, spread Alpha Trion's words, and gathered more supporters each day. The perseverance and courage he instilled in us became the foundation of a movement that would shake the foundations of quintessent power. From the darkness of the mines, we prepared to step into the light, toward a battle that would determine not only our fate, but the future of Cybertron itself. There would be no return to the darkness. We were ready for change, ready to fight for true justice. And in the heart of every miner, there now burned a flame, a promise that justice would come, no matter how hard the resistance. In the warmth of the growing resistance, I found more than just a purpose. I found a family. Among the secret walls where we planned and trained, I met comrades in arms who would stand by me through thick and thin. Two of them were Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime, who would later become central figures in my life, one as a brother and the other as a friend turned rival. Ultra Magnus, with his strength and decisiveness, was someone I always trusted. We shared the same dream, envisioning a future for Cybertron free from oppression and filled with hope. His bravery on the battlefield was matched only by his fairness of it, making him both a companion and a mentor. On the other hand, there was Optimus Prime, then known as Orion Pox. A thinker and leader with a vision gentler than mine. His bravery was not in weapons, but in words and deeds always aimed at peace and understanding. I admired him, perhaps more than I realized, because he saw the world not just as it was, but as it should be. However, over time, cracks began to appear in our relationship. Under the influence of Alpha Trion, we were taught to always seek the peaceful path, to reform without violence. I respected and valued these lessons, but in my heart, a different belief began to grow, a belief that strength was sometimes necessary to effect real change. When Alpha Trion refused to respond to aggression with equal action, my frustration peaked. To me, he seemed increasingly unable to grasp the harsh realities faced by Cybertron, where words sometimes failed against force. This frustration grew into disappointment, which eventually forced me to choose a different path. In an emotional meeting with Ultra Magnus and Optimus, I expressed my views that we needed more than just talk and demonstrations. I argued that only through true strength could we force change, liberating Cybertron from the grip of the Quintessons once and for all. Ultra Magnus, though hesitant, remained loyal to me, while Optimus, with a heavy heart, chose to stick with Alpha Trion's teachings. My decision to form the Decepticons, a faction that prioritized strength and dominance as tools of change, was a point of no return. It separated me from many old friends, including Optimus, whose path now diverged from mine. This choice led to a war and destruction previously unseen on Cybertron. We, who were once united in struggle, were now split in battle. Every encounter with the Autobots on the battlefield was a bitter reminder of what had been lost: not just lives, but also friendships, trust, and parts of myself. Battle after battle, degree by degree, we the Decepticons under my command faced the Autobots on merciless battlegrounds. Each clash left its mark, both on our mettle and our souls. Each confrontation was not just about territorial dominance or resources, but also about reinforcing my idealism that strength is the key to lasting change. One of the most monumental clashes occurred at Tannhauser Gate, a strategic location crucial for both sides. There, Ultra Magnus, my brother-in-arms for so long, and I stood side by side, battling wave after wave of the enemy. We were like two unshakable steel pillars, symbols of the strength and resilience at the core of the Decepticon cause. In the battlefield, filled with smoke and the light from explosions, amid the screams of machines and the roar of weapons, I witnessed the courage and perseverance of both friends and foes. Ultra Magnus, loyally by my side, directed our forces with impressive tactical expertise. Yet, behind every victory, a sense of despair began to creep in, poisoning my resolve. With each battle, the burden of power grew heavier. I realized that although we won many battles, the greater war, the war for the hearts and minds of Cybertron, was far from over. The Autobots, under Optimus Prime's leadership, continued to gain support, even in defeat. They were seen as martyrs, symbols of resistance against tyranny, while the Decepticons, myself, and my vision were increasingly viewed as oppressors. In this despair, I began to contemplate another way to end this conflict, a more permanent and inevitable way. I considered every option, every possibility, even the darkest ones. Perhaps, I thought, to achieve true and lasting peace, more drastic actions were necessary, actions that could alter the course of Cybertron's history forever. At this point, under the shadow of Tannhauser Gate, I made a decision that would bind my fate and all Cybertronians, to end the conflict by any means necessary, even if it meant breaking ancient codes and causing greater destruction. This was not a decision taken lightly. It was made with the full weight of Cybertron's future on my shoulders. I knew this decision would lead to betrayal, not just against my enemies, but also against some of my friends. But In dark times, when hope seemed an illusion, I believed that only through radical action could Cybertron be saved from itself. This decision, which I hoped would be the final move in the long drama of the Civil War, was not the end I dreamed of, but perhaps it was what was necessary to bring peace to our divided planet. The battle at Tannhauser Gate was not just a physical fight, but also a battle of the soul, a struggle between an unchangeable past and a still shapeable future. In the darkness and destruction, I sought light, a glimmer of hope that perhaps, after all this, we might all find peace. Yet, certainty only exists in battle, and that battle I was ready to face with all the means at my disposal. On the brink of victory, standing atop the ruins that once were a battlefield, I, Megatron, leader of the Decepticons, felt something I never imagined I would feel again now. Around me, the world I loved, Cybertron, was nothing more than a shadow, shattered by the war one had orchestrated. There, among the rubble and silence, voices from the past echoed in my head, reminding me of everything that had been lost and all that could still be saved. The victory I had dreamed of, which I had fought for tooth and nail, tasted bitter. I realized, with every decision I made and every battle I won, that violence only begets violence. This chain of vengeance, which had bound Cybertron for centuries, seemed unbreakable. And in that silence, a haunting truth emerged. True peace might never be achieved through force and domination. The event that changed everything occurred when Wheeljack and Bumblebee, two Autobots who had long been my adversaries, were captured by my forces. They stood bravely, though wounded and cornered, before a Decepticon execution squad. Tradition and the usual policies of war would have required me to allow the execution to proceed. However, at that moment, something within me shifted. Looking into their eyes, two souls who had fought with all their hearts for what they believed in, I felt a connection to my own past, to the early days of my struggle for justice and freedom. In those defining seconds, I made a decision that would not only change their fate, but also my own. I ordered their release, a move that shocked everyone present, including myself. I felt a flicker of regret, not for the decision itself, but for all the decisions before that had led us all to this point. Perhaps, in the darkest place of my heart, I still desired peace, not just the peace won through victory, but true peace, grown from understanding and reconciliation. These decisions sparked discussions among the Decepticons and disbelief among the Autobots. For many who followed me, it was a betrayal of Decepticon principles. Yet, for others, it signaled that even Megatron, the feared ruler, could change. From that moment, I began to seek a new path. This path was not marked by the blasts of weapons or the cheers of victory, but by dialogue and diplomacy, by efforts to understand those who I had long considered only as targets to be destroyed. This was not an easy journey, and I knew many trials still lay ahead. However, the desire to change myself and the world around me had been ignited, and for the first time in a long while, I had hope that maybe, just maybe, Cybertron could be mended. In the solitude of this night, I, Megatron, sit in deep contemplation. The dim light from the stars in the Cybertron sky offers a new and soothing perspective. Victory has become a word that has lost its meaning for me. Now, I seek recovery and redemption. True peace seems like an unreachable dream, yet it is what I now strive for. The Allspark, the source of life and power for all of Cybertron, was lost in the chaos of the endless war. The loss of the Allspark has left a void in the heart of the planet and in the heart of every Cybertronian. Without it, life on Cybertron slowly dims, dragging us all into a despair nearly beyond recovery. In the solitude of this night, I have decided to no longer be an agent of division and destruction. I choose a higher path, a path I have never trodden before, the path of reconciliation and restoration. Together with Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots, whom I once considered my archenemy, we now stand shoulder to shoulder with a common purpose. Our meeting after the great battle at Tannhauser Gate was a turning point for both of us. Amidst the ruins and sorrow, we realized that further bloodshed would only deepen the wounds already inflicted. Optimus, with his wisdom, extended a hand in peace, offering an alliance I had never imagined before. Together, we agreed to restore what had been lost, to find the Allspark and bring life back to Cybertron. Our search for the Allspark is not as enemies, but as pioneers of peace, as brothers who have found a common purpose among the debris of old conflicts. We journey across landscapes and caves, through databases and ancient ruins, each clue bringing us closer to the nearly lost hope. On this journey, I have learned more about Optimus, about his strength, his wisdom, and most importantly, about his capacity for forgiveness. He taught me that leadership is not just about power and control, but about understanding and sacrifice. Together, we face challenges, sometimes failing, but more often finding new strength in our cooperation. Our success in finding the Allspark will be a symbol of new possibilities for Cybertron, a possibility of the planet not just as a battlefield, but as a home for all races living in harmony. Although our path is still long and full of obstacles, each small step we take towards recovery brings new light into the darkness that has long dominated our hearts and minds. With each passing day, I feel more certain that redemption is possible, that even the most damaged soul can find its way back to the light. And in the midst of this quiet night, as I look up at the expansive sky, I see not just stars, but also a future where Cybertron thrives not on the power of war, but on the power of unity and peace. Together, Optimus and I, once enemies, now allies, continue to forge a path not just for ourselves, but for all of Cybertron. As the new dawn lights up Cybertron's horizon, I, Megatron, no longer stand as a warlord, but as a guardian of peace. The armor I once wore for conquest is now a shield protecting all Cybertronians. Let my transformation remind us that from the ashes of war, peace can emerge. If I can find redemption, so can anyone. May this story inspire dreams of a peaceful and changeable realm, where light conquers darkness. May you wake to a world where even the fiercest foes can unite for a greater good. As Cybertron begins its day, let us embrace a path filled with hope, building a future where love and harmony prevail. Sleep peacefully, knowing that change is possible, and awaken with the resolve to make it real.